Well, hello. Welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist. Join with hubby.
Okay.
And today we are working on Layla's mouth. All right, let's get it going. How's everything sound? Does it sound okay? Hello, Omar. Hey, Kathy. All right. So I'm going to be starting. One, I got to get the camera out of my way so you guys can see better. With the 18 extra small on 3 3/4, 3.75. That's, yeah. And we are going to start. Let's do this. Now we are in the studio, so we're not going to have things bouncing this time, thankfully. All right. Hey, Shirley. And hopefully in the next week or two, I will have the computer back in the studio. I still got a bunch of stuff to do. Got to decide if I'm painting a wall. Hey, Andrea. All right, so I am at trying to get comfortable. 3 3/4, and I'm gonna put in where her jowls meet. This is the bottom, and this is the top, and this sticking out right here is that's a whisker. I've got a little thick on the transfer, but I think I'll fix it myself. And then we are gonna bump down to the bottom lip. Okay, she's an older lady now. She's getting some gray going on under her chin. It's like the only place she has gray, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. So I'm just using the tip.
Okay.
Hopefully everything sounds okay. You can move that. I just put it there, so.
No, it's just this board over here. The dog were laying by it. They bumped it. It's gonna fall on them.
Gotcha. Now I can't see her gum wrap around, so I'm just going to do what's in the photo and drag it down. Oh, sorry, guys. Hey, Wanda. All right, so I'm going to leave a little gap that I can blend in. Since in the photo, I've got it lightened up so I can see detail, but I can't see where her gum is. And she does have dark gums. She's got a little pink in the middle. And that will be a lighter burn. Hey, Sheila. All right. See, the way I've got it drawn, doesn't indent like this so much. So maybe I was a little, there we go. We'll just do it that way. Hopefully the light's better now, since I've got my regular lighting set up. And we have the lip come down at the bottom. So I'm just using the tip and dragging. This is the other, like, darkest part of the whole piece. And her lip is kind of touching right above where the whisker is. So I'm going to leave a little gap. That way I can go back later and have some room. And then this comes down directly. You know, it lightens up, but we do need to make sure I get this darkest part in. So we have some of the lip come over. I can always freehand it later. So I'm going to drag down. If you're newer to pyrography, I would definitely try to make sure that your pattern's accurate, just so it's easier for you. And I am, with my old age in burning.
Your old age is burning?
Well, in the scheme of things, yes. I've been burning for a long time. Thanks, Wanda. Been burning a long time now. 18 years in December. So yes, my old age in burning. I'm going to leave this gap right here because her gum does lighten up. I just want to give myself a little wiggle room. Hey, Spence. Turn this, make sure we stay on the screen.
So you know, Roxy is laying on the wheels in her chair.
Okay. So I turned it so that the back end, which I'm going to turn back again, isn't hanging over a lighter area. I don't want any overburn because of how this pin burns. That can happen.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Wanda, but thank you.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, but I figured you would let us know. All right, there we go. And see, if I go flat and just drag quickly, it'll burn lighter. The tip and moving slowly is what makes the difference. All right. He is uneven, meaning because her thing that likes to stick out is actually behind her lip and her head's tilted just a little bit. This side is a little longer than this side. Now I've moved down to 4. Oh, I'm sorry. How do you move down from 3.5, 3.25 to... I can't even get my mouth right. Down to 3. And I'm going to start putting in the lighter areas. They are still dark burns, but they are much lighter. So I'm going to actually use just the tip and do oval strokes. Hopefully I'm still on camera. And fill in this darker area. You gotta have these darks. So here he has fur. The bottom chin, bottom chin. He has a top chin too, right? I'm having a hard time speaking. I'm actually gonna turn my pen, use the edge.
Okay, Tuesday is the new Monday.
Yeah. And drag down. None of this is flat. So when something isn't flat, you need to follow the direction of what the object is that you're burning.
Layla.
And get that roundness.
Layla.
And when I do fur,
Layla.
I make sure to cross over where I've already burned. And actually, for this area, I actually use the small for fur. So I'm going to switch over to that. I'm actually going to bump up to 4 because the small does burn differently.
I want to ask something I can't see what she asked.
He has asked
how are the what? Is there any way to move that emoji thing?
No. How are the walls going? I've gotten I've got 1 3.25 wall to finish burning if I decide.
But they look fantastic. The ones that are done.
I got the big wall done and the window wall done. Alright, so dragging down and using the edge. So I'm turning my pen and overlapping where I've already burned. When you're doing a round-ish object, the middle will go straight down, depending on what that object is. And see, we can see this is a thinner line, plus we've got the dark of the grain.
Good job.
Thank y'all. It hurt. Reveal should be soon. So I'm going to actually go over the line on the outline so things can blend easier. So here we go straight down, and then on this side, it'll go in this direction. Also, it's short fur, so I need to make shorter strokes. Layla's the velvet dog. She's short hair, kind of. And then I will go burn back over this to darken it. I'm just trying to get the texture right now. And I can see my lines are a little different. So I'll have to blend them together.
No, Layla, or not Layla, but Roxy and Morgan are on the wheels of your chair.
Okay, thank you. Right now, I don't need to move. I'll get this in real quick and then we'll darken it up. She has a lighter area right there.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, I shaved for this. I forgot that.
They can't see you?
Yeah, they can't see me. I put on a new shirt too.
Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and bump up to 4.5 on this pin. So I can start darkening areas, especially where it's closer to the mouth, because especially on this side. Does the camera look bad for you guys?
I think it looks fine.
No, it's a lower quality than it should be. I should fix that. Alright. Plus I need to with the pin. So now I'm flat.
They can hear me though.
Oh, good. Well, you are closer to the camera this time. This side really needs to go darker. Just not as dark as this. Let's get in there. And just moving really quick, just so I can darken the area without losing texture.
We're gonna hold my foot down.
Keep making sure you're not floating away.
Yeah, she is.
And it's going to look off because I don't have a whole lot of other stuff in, so I have to keep that in mind. You know, where the lip touches the chin. You need to put that in shadow here. I also need to erase. Still looks more yellow than I should on camera. Let's see here. I'm actually going to bump down to 3, and because right in here, Layla has her old lady marks. Sorry, Layla. Layla will be 11 this year. She's moving up. All right, so this is just a white charcoal, which technically isn't charcoal, but it is safe to use near burning. And this is just so I don't lose my lights. All right. There we go. Left her white hair in. Now this area right here is short. Hey, Apple Moose. I'm just going to use the edge. following what I did up here, following the direction. And then I can go back and darken it up. This way I don't lose my pattern. And because of the graphite paper I use, I'm able to erase. Plus, when I wipe off with denatured alcohol, it also removes the graphite. Yeah, we'll get that in there. Following the shapes is the most important part. Sorry, face itched. It itched. See right here, it is dark. Not as dark, so I'm going to use the tip and drag slower. Because I'm at 3, it is going to burn lighter than what I have here, but it works. Andrea is watching while she's at an appointment.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully the appointment goes great. Right, dragging in the direction. This is going this way. And he does have some dark that go into the chin. Oh, she's got a little bit of white there, so I will leave a space for that white. And this line right here. Oh, why is my nose itching? Oh, don't you hate when your nose itches?
Yeah.
Leave that gap. This is a little darker. So I can slow and just use the tip, darken it up. This is later. I'm going to butt up to under her chin, just so I don't lose it. Bring that fur over. She does have a darker spot under her chin right here. And then she's also got some dark under her chin here. Really wish I could put the reference photo where you can see it. So this line goes like this, but we do have a dark in here. So we'll put that in. And then this is lighter. So I'm still going to burn it because it's lighter, but I'm not going to have it as close. And then darken under here. There we go. And then we can go back up in here in her chin. So we've got this line here. So I know I can go darker. Following the shapes. It's kind of an M that curves. And the more you can get used to freehanding, it'll make things easier. I've got my basic outlines, but I still pretty much freehand everything in. And the biggest thing, especially since we got a few new people, is not putting any outlines.
Moritz is here.
Hey, Lucifer. All right, so let's drag this down like we did on the one side. Bring it together.
Hey, Moritz, it looks like that we might be on for tomorrow morning with Troy.
I do need to bump up my heat. I'm going to bump up to 4, just so we have a dark area right underneath her chin here. So I'm just using the tip. putting that in. See, the biggest thing you can do is if you can control your speed, you'll still be able to get lights and darks in without constantly having to adjust.
Oh, it's 83 in this apartment.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Spence. We know what that's like.
Yeah, we do. Drag it down. And he has a lighter area right here, and then it's light right here. But this gel, I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to the extra small. So, in 3, so I can move quicker. And keep moving the board up so I can see. So maybe I can angle it where you guys can see better, and I can see over the camera. Wanda just got a new AC installed. Whew. I am in no way jealous of Phoenix temperatures at all. At all. I'm so sorry. It's been so hot down there. All right, just the tip. I'm actually going to bump up to 4 so I can move quicker. But when you're wood burning, I would say take your time. Because I know everybody's time is valuable.
Yes.
So I don't want to spend. Turn the camera. Or turn the board this way. Flat and drag. Because it does go out a little bit. This part is darker than what I was doing. And I'm going across the grain. It would burn faster if it went with the grain.
Where are you going across?
Just because of the angle I'm at. Even though it's easier to turn your wood than stand on your head.
I heard that somewhere. From someone.
Alright, now I'm going to bump down back to 3 just so it doesn't get too dark. Let's turn the board. Now I'm going with the grain. Little oval strokes with the grain. Just so I can blend and it'll be darker. Like that line right there. I need to blend it out. So I'll go right into that area with just the tip. It's going to blend out. And this is like the bottom of her jowl right there. So it is going to be darker than right here. But not as dark as here. Yeah, let's get it in there. It still needs to go darker, but we can move back over. There we go. Now this line also is very similar to this area over here. So I'll touch down in an area I've already burned. And then I will blend it out with the tip. And see, I can definitely feel the difference in the burn because of how I'm going across the grain. Excuse me. So just like last week, if you're having a hard time, try going with the grain. Because if you run your fingers across the piece of wood with the grain, you'll feel in one direction will be smoother than the other. So going this way is smoother than going this way. And it's very, it's very minute. So you have to use your finger in order to feel it. And see now it feels better on my pen.
Why does it seems to be a little blurry?
Okay, so looking at your screen at the top right over in this area here, do you see a dial? If you see a dial, click the dial, and then it will tell you what the, hey Teresa, it'll tell you in what version you're looking at. More than likely it's going to say 144p. So click that dial, and when it drops down, hit advanced and then hit 720. And that should clear up your screen for you. Ooh.
If we lose the internet for some reason, that's
Well,
because
we use thunder.
yeah, we have a thunder and lightning going on right now.
Is there lightning?
Oh, somewhere.
I guess because there's thunder doesn't mean there's lightning. But we will go longer next week if we get knocked off. All right. So now we can see this goes darker. Plus we have shadow in here. So I need to make sure I get that shadow so that this part of the lip makes more sense. You didn't hear the thunder, Wanda, or you're just not having it there? I mean, monsoons were really late this year. We got a couple of good storms. Yeah, flat going with the green. I can definitely feel the difference. Plus, this part of the grain is darker, so it's going to burn slightly different. All right, so we have a highlight right here that goes all the way under here. I'm just gonna...
She says she hears the thunder, but you're still with us. That's...
Okay. There we go. And then under her chin is right here. I'm going to bring this down. Straight down. Now the thunderhead's sitting right on top of the house. So, and we get some pretty loud thunder. Mm-hmm. Like if the dogs start barking. I'm going to apologize now.
Well, hopefully they don't, because they're just, right now they're unconscious. So.
Yeah, but when they get startled from the thunder, they do. All right, so let's darken this up, and then we'll flip the board back. We do have some darks right here. All right. Now that's definitely going to have to go darker. Here. So this comes up. Yeah, I can definitely feel a difference with these, with the pins and the grain. So we're going to go up here. This is actually a lighter area, so I'll have to darken this. I'll bump down to 2 just so I don't have to worry about adjusting. Put this line in. All right, so now the gums. So her gums are light right here, less light right here. Right now I'm just using my pen to block in. It comes around this tooth. is going to be darker underneath. Alright. Now let's see. We do have it darker here, but not in every place. Like the gum is lighter here, but we do have some dark under here. So we'll put it in. It's not an outline, it's just the base of our gum. We'll drag this dark down, just using the tip. Now this tooth almost looks like it's floating because the gum is dark. And we need to make sure it's not looking like it's attached to the chin. Let's see. More of a V.
Wanda wants to know, when you use the edge of your pin, does it cut into the wood?
Yes, it can. It depends on how much pressure I'm putting on.
Is that something you're trying to do, or?
Sometimes it depends on what it is. For fur, yeah. Because it feels more like fur.
So if you're trying to actually create the physical texture.
Yeah. I mean, I still need to darken this up. It's a very shallow feeling.
Yep. I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see here. There's the tooth right there. So we're going to go under that tooth. I'm going to quickly put on some white just so I don't lose the tooth. Teeth aren't white. But it's just so I can make sure I don't lose it. There we go. All right. It looks in the photo like there's two teeth here, but I wonder if there isn't. This one is definitely crossed. I'm going to bump down to 1 so I can do the pink, which is not going to be pink, obviously, in the burn. It's going to be really light. And it's the white and the dark that's going to help it feel like a gum. Boom this corner out because we don't see it. Over here is a little darker. Because there's still graphite, it's not going to stand out as much.
Okay.
So when I clean it off and I put other stuff in, this stuff will stand out more. So this line, when I erase, it's going to also take the white with it, if I hit it. Always put it back in. And this is birch, so I've been doing a lot of basswood lately. Just a reminder, because it does burn differently than basswood. And actually thicken. Yeah, but back to 3 real quick, just so I can thicken this line with the gum. Give us some space. There we go. All right, now feels like we have more space in between the teeth and the gum. Or teeth and the chin, sorry. We have some darkener gum here. And this is more dark gray. I didn't adjust, I'm just moving quickly. There we go. Now we can come down here. See, we can see how the grain right here is darker than the rest of the wood. So I'm going to put my pen on the edge and just move quickly. Because I can feel this grain grabbing my tip. So now I'm on my edge, but I'm kind of turned so that I'm using pretty much the left edge of the tip to darken. It's really hard to explain. Bring this down. Yeah, I can feel the difference in the wood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's okay if we have some dark in spots because that's actually how her chin is anyway. So if we don't have to stress over it, let's don't. Then just flat, just to darken some of this up. And I'm not exact because she's pretty spotted right there. Actually, the problem I've had in the past with entering the contest, and hopefully she'll be done. And if she's not, then I just have a piece of Layla that I haven't done yet. They don't seem to understand that it's burned. I mean, the company does, but they have guest judges. And I don't think the judges realize because you don't get to put what medium it is. And without saying, hey, this is wood burning, it can easily be a pencil looking piece. So that's where I kind of have the problem. And even if they know it's burned on wood, the judges don't necessarily know the medium and don't necessarily realize what's going on.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
Well,
it's not the first time.
And I'll say this, okay? Whenever you enter a contest, especially if it's contest with multimedia, the judges should be impartial. Most of the time, they're going to gravitate towards works that are in their own mediums because they understand it better. And so they understand the specific difficulties that come with, working in that medium, whatever it is. And so what happens is, this is a lot of times, if you see, like Valarie said, if you get, let's say, watercolor, if you got a judge that does watercolors, then they're going to
recognize
they're going to look at watercolor stuff harder, and they're going to gravitate towards watercolor work, and they may not look as carefully at things that are not in their wheelhouse, and they may not be as impressed with things that are not in their wheelhouse because that's part of human nature. Now, ideally, a judge should be impartial, but it's been my experience that if you have somebody who does, let's say, sculpture, and you have a art contest, there's a good chance that that judge is going to nominate a piece of sculpture. You know, if you have a ceramics judge, they're going to most likely nominate something in ceramics. And so unless you have somebody on the judging panel who is a pyrographer and understands the difficulty and the nuance, it's a lot harder to compete in the field.
It is.
And that's an unfortunate reality, and it has to do with human nature and the nature of the art business. But that is the way that it is. Nonetheless,
I will keep trying.
yeah, the Valarie keep trying, and on several occasions, like in the Arizona Woodcarver show, she has gotten ribbons.
Got a lot of ribbons.
Got a lot of ribbons.
But they understand wood.
They do, but you are in competitions with other things that are not wood burning,
That's true.
and she earned those ribbons nonetheless. So that's an impressive accomplishment, in my opinion.
Mm.
But yeah, so whenever you enter a contest, you know, because sometimes contests have entry fees, a lot of times they do, and if you're going to enter a contest, look at the nature of the contest and look and see who the judges are. Because if you enter a contest, is it like say a fine art contest, and most of the time the judging panel, they're going to have their little short bios, and if you see that the bios are, you know, like if you're entering a fine art contest and you see that, you know, Bob Jones, I'm making up names, so if there's a coincidence, it's a coincidence. So Bob Jones is a digital graphic artist, and Marie, you know, Fredrickson is a textile artist, and then, you know, Lance is all about you know, abstract art, and you do realistic pyrography, you might not have a chance in that presentation. You might not even show, you know. So you have to be aware of who the judges are. You can still enter, of course, you know, because everything that you enter, you know, adds to your portfolio, and you can say, look, I've entered these contests, and who knows, you know, you might win something anyway, despite all that. But the odds are that with a panel like that there's going to be something that is not related to what you do that ends up in the first, second, and third place, and that's
Especially since the judging, let's see here, they've got a watercolor judge, they have a dry medium judge, and then they have an oil painting judge, and I don't know if the oil painter is also doing the acrylics as well.
Yeah.
And then there's mixed media. So I don't fall into any of the traditional. I tend to do, when I do fine art competitions, I tend to do just dry media, which is, you know, pencils, charcoal, pastels, things of colored pencil.
Yeah. And
that's pretty much the only area I really can enter. Although this year I plan on putting pastel on the back for this one, on the background.
Yeah, and a lot of time, especially if it's a monochromatic piece, a lot of times those judges are very swayed by color.
Yep.
And they will dismiss something just because it's not colorful enough. And
it didn't catch their eye.
Without understanding the process.
Yeah.
And so that's rough too. Like if you're a pyrography artist and you're doing competitions, it's going to be an uphill battle. And
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to say that to dissuade you. I'm just saying that that's the reality of it. But if you are a good pyrography artist, you're still going to win awards and stand out. It's just going to be more difficult to do so, and you need to be cognizant of the contests that you enter.
Yep.
Now, whenever Valarie goes into the county fair, she always wins something.
Well, I didn't enter last year because I was a judge last year.
Yeah, and we're not entering this year because we just got too much stuff going on. But yeah, so like general art competitions, like especially if you're an accomplished artist and it's an open, if it's an open venue, you know, if it's not a
Medium specific.
I forget what it's called, but if you don't have to be juried in, you have a better chance of winning because you're going to be in a sea of entries of people who are aspiring artists, but maybe who don't have the training and the experience, and so your work is going to shine above theirs.
And I have entered other fine art media and outbeat everybody there.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, of all the wood stuff.
Yeah. So it's a tricky thing, you know, and you never know. Like you might enter a competition and you might get lucky with the judges. They might see your work and understand what it is and be blown away, and that attitude can be infectious to the other judges.
Yep.
And you know, and you might win. You know, you never know. You know, there's no set formula for winning an art competition other than just do your very best and understand that human bias is going to be a factor.
Yeah.
And just remember that for every ribbon that you win, that there's, you know, 100 or 1,000 other people who feel, you know, that their stuff should have won.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, and sometimes you're going to enter competitions and you're going to, you know, come back and see the results and see the, you know, the blue, red, and white ribbons, and they're going to be on pieces that you're like, what?
Yeah.
Wanda wants to know if they charge.
You have to buy this specific piece of wood. I do have it linked down in the description. You have to, this is I know it's hard to see because I'm so close. This is a specific, I'll get the S out, cut of wood. So everybody has to use this wood. I purchased the raw, but there's also same exact cut size wood for with special coatings for acrylic and oil and watercolor. I'm using the raw wood, obviously. So you can choose the finish on the wood or the lack thereof, but everybody's using this specific piece of wood, and that's the entrance fee, is the wood you buy. I think it was, don't hold me to it. I'm trying to remember. I think it was either $12.95 or $14.95, but I'm not 100% sure.
So, Wanda, to answer your question, how can they not know? Just keep in mind that I've been very nice about what I've said, but let's just,
because it's just a photo. They only judge you based on the photo. Yeah. They don't see the work in person.
Yeah, and then
that's why.
Unless it's a physical competition. But, you know, keep in mind that a lot of times when judges are invited to judge, they are invited because they're prominent in the community or whatever.
Within their field.
Within their
medium.
Field. And some of those artists have a great deal of hubris. And so they may feel that their medium is the best medium and that those things that are in their medium should be the winners. And that is another unfortunate, you know, you'd like them to be neutral, and I'd say many of them are.
But they are human.
But they are subject to ego, and you know, if they see something that they really love that's in their medium, that's probably what they're going to vote for, you know. So
no, your actual work is they are not going to get the physical copy. It's just based off of a photo.
Yeah, unless it's something like a state fair or county fair or something like that, where they're walking around looking at the art
center. Alrighty. I wanted to get this part of her jowl in because it's the main part, and it starts giving us some shape around the teeth. No, if they could see the piece in person, I do feel comfortable that I'd have a chance. But because it's just based off a photo, and you don't get to put the description of what it is, and you also have to remember in regards to fine art, think about when you first started burning. If you knew about burning prior to doing it, when you heard wood burning, what is the type of art that you thought of? And this is not judgmental in any way. Just when you hear the term wood burning, what do you think versus the term pyrography?
Well, I'll go.
And there's a reason.
Because when I first heard wood burning, I grew up thinking that wood burning was something that people did with like soldering irons.
Well, it is.
And they, and it was mainly like signs, like welcome to the Smith house.
No judgment. That's
That's
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, and so that's what I thought wood burning was. It wasn't until that I saw Valerie's work that I realized that it could be so much more, and that it's an old world art form like etching, I think, or even if you're talking about like charcoals, charcoal art, it is an art form that requires a specific set of skills, and it's not mainstream, and it's not quick or easy.
I'm sorry, the way you said that, I had something else pop in my head.
What did you?
Certain set of skills. Not that I've ever seen the movie.
No.
Taken.
Yeah. Yes, Valarie has a particular set of skills, and she will find you, and she will burn your portrait.
And try to help you.
So Wanda, no, your actual work is rarely entered. In fact, unless it is a physical competition, like I said, at a state fair, or county fair, or something local,
Museum, store.
Yeah. They're not going to see your physical work unless
Nope.
Let's say that there's an exhibition and there's a call for entries. If you're juried into that exhibition, then they will see your work, but only after it's been judged.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty rare. We have something here at the Center for the Arts here, where you get juried into the competition, or into the exhibition, and you can, and then there's nights where the public can vote, and they see the actual work against other people's work, so they're actually seeing the physical objects as opposed to images. But the judges, they most times have already made their decisions based on an image that you've sent, and that's why it's important to send really good images. And
when we do like It's Elemental at the Center for the Arts,
yeah,
the judges go in the night before it opens. They judge.
oh, so they do see it.
They see it in person.
Okay.
That on those photos, you're juried in based on your photos. Oh, it's been raining.
Yeah.
Based on your photos, not the physical.
Right.
It's judged based off the physical.
Right. And then as in terms of jurying in and sometimes judging, especially with larger competitions, your work might only be in front of the judges for like a minute or less.
Yeah.
And so unless there's something, that, like Valarie said, catches their eye, or if they understand what the work is, they're going to, look at it and maybe discuss it for 30, 45 seconds and move on.
Yep.
And I tell you, as an artist, that does not feel fair, especially for something that you've worked
hours upon hours,
dozens of hours on,
but that's the way it is.
but that is the way that it is. So
Right now I'm using the tip. I'm at 4, moving very quickly to darken up the bottom of her chin where we see the hair going over because that is darker.
Shirley says that she always thought that the um, pyrography was black line work and very smoky and stinky to do. Never had any desire to do it.
Let's see.
Surprise.
Surprise.
It is stinky.
It's not stinky. Well, if you're not burning on the right stuff.
If you have dogs that are in your studio, it's
stinky. Oh, well, that's different.
Roxy, you know how she comes and stands up on my leg?
Mm-hmm.
She burped in my face. And it was so bad, I almost gagged.
Oh.
Anyway. Burn Queen asks, where would one find a competition and how would they enter? Well, you could Google it. Google your local area. You could go to your art stores, actually, and the odds are that the people who are in the art store, a lot of them are going to be artists because artists tend to gravitate towards those things. So if you have an art supply store, like a dedicated one, maybe not Michael's, or someplace like that, but if you have like a local art store, chances are that they are going to know where the local competitions are.
Pretty much for what, because we mentioned the Center of the Arts. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pretty much most towns and definitely bigger cities will have a Center for the Arts, whether it's, say, if you're in Phoenix, there's the Mesa Center for the Arts, there's the Phoenix Center for the Arts. I'm pretty sure Glendale has a Center for the Arts, Peoria. If they don't, I know for a fact there's a Mesa and Phoenix Center for the Arts. So what you do is you go to whatever your closest location or town for the Center of the Arts, and then click on their website. And most of the time, either at the very top of their website or at the bottom of their website, you might see a term that says Call to Artist.
Yeah.
Click on Call to Artist, and then you can go through the list and see if there's any competitions, if there's any shows that you're interested in, and then click on that, and then you'll get all the information for that location. So for us, it's our county. We don't have a Flagstaff Center for the Arts. We have Coconino County Center for the Arts. So if you don't see one for your town, check your county. Every state has them. Every big city has them. You may have to go, further out from yourself. But what you're looking for is a call to artist.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to find any competitions through a fine art perspective.
You can also, if you want to go see some art, I'm sure that in most towns, maybe not the really small towns, but if your town is artsy at all, or if it's a medium to large city, there's going to be art galleries.
Mm-hmm.
And,
oh yeah.
Especially artist co-ops, which are basically a bunch of artists working together, and there's going to be artists that were working in the store, and they may know where there's some competitions going on. Call like Val said, call for artists, and you can also Google it and
Yep.
see it for your area and see if there is anything comes up. And it doesn't have to be your area either.
Nope.
Like if you
check the rules.
Yeah, you go and look and call for artists, and there might be art, and there might be an art competition going on in I don't know, Oklahoma, or wherever, different places in Canada. The only caveat to that is that if you get into those competitions, you're most likely going to be asked to ship your work there.
Yep.
And
most places do charge.
Yeah.
To enter.
And if you want to, be there on opening night, you're going to have to travel there. But we've seen several times where artists, from out of state and even out of country that are here in competitions here that have won, because they entered a competition and they're not from here; they're from somewhere else. So
yeah,
you can do that too. So,
well, I know that they're trying to turn us into. They're trying to up our art scene here, like Santa Fe's. That's why they allow out of county and out of state entries.
Yeah. Also, in magazines, art magazines,
Yeah.
there's going to be, if you look, like towards the back end of the magazines, you also have those little ads and things like there. A lot of times there's call for artists in those competitions. They have competitions that are coming up. Maybe the magazine is running one, or maybe you'll just see ads for them around.
If you don't know if something's legit, take the name of the competition, put it in Google, and then put scam after it, and you can find out if there's any complaints about. Let's see, Burn Queens in Dallas. Oh, you're good. I grew up in Garland. You're good in Dallas.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of things.
Oh yeah, Dallas has a big art scene.
Yeah.
Austin's bigger, but Dallas. Let's see, the Dallas Museum of Fine Art. There's probably a Tarrant County something. Bunch of museums.
Yeah.
And you got Fort Worth right there, plus all the surrounding area.
Yeah. Plus, you said fairs, right?
Oh, Texas State Fair. That's like one of the only things I miss in Texas is the Texas State Fair.
Yeah.
But yes, that does have an
that's
art.
Have a big art competition.
Very big art.
And
Phoenix does.
Your county is going to have a county fair with an art competition as well.
I haven't been to Austin. I've been in San Antonio, but I haven't been to Austin.
And a county fair can be a good starter. Prices are usually low to enter, and you're competing against everybody.
I'm trying to remember where the county. The Texas State Fair is all the state, and that happens in Dallas at Fair Park. I don't remember growing up and seeing anything for the county.
Teresa says nice work.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Says the bird looks great.
Thank you.
And
the color's still off, but that's because of my phone.
Optima says it looks 3D.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, right now it's a little odd. Maybe I need to angle.
Time-wise, we're actually at an hour.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer their competition questions.
Yeah, entering competition can be fun though. You can make friends there.
Yep.
You can meet
contacts.
other artists that are.
Saw your work.
You can have people who are interested in your work. You can make.
Do you guys remember the raven with the flower and the moon? That sold last year at the county fair.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Or the year before? Was it last year? No, it was the year before. God damn.
You're gonna meet other aspiring artists, and some of them are going to be inspiring. Other ones are probably going to annoy you.
I've done our county fair multiple times, and that's why I was able to be a judge last year.
You won People's Choice.
I won People's Choice. You won People's Choice.
Twice.
You didn't win it twice.
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, bite me. Okay, but that is the exact...
Later.
That's the exact thing we were talking about, because here my burning, a small burning, was competing with a, 18 by 24 painting.
Yeah.
Color painting.
Yeah.
So smaller burnings aren't going to stand out like paintings do.
And generally, as a couple, we don't always enter the same competitions.
No.
Because of that reason. It's not because we have thin skin.
Because of what he just did.
It's just because...
It's because of what he just did. You guys heard it. It has been recorded. We have it. Rub it in. You didn't win twice.
Yes, I did. The wolf won, and then the one that's hanging in the kitchen there won. Yep. Got ribbons to prove it.
Do you really want to compare ribbons?
No.
I love you.
I love you too.
But I'm always proud of you.
Let the record show that Valarie has way more ribbons than me.
I also enter way more than you.
That's true.
I mean, I haven't entered anything this year.
No, we've both been busy.
I'm hoping next February, though, to go to Mesa.
Mesa? What's in Mesa?
I would like to do the Desert Woodcarving show one last time.
Oh, okay. I always confuse Mesa with Phoenix because it's just one big conglomerate city to me.
It's like Dallas and Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So.
Lovers quarrel. Yes, we fight so bad.
When one of us wins People's Choice, both of us win People's Choice. I'm going to say that may not be true. can't see Valerie's face.
I'm laughing.
But that's why we don't generally enter the same
Yeah.
competitions
Yep.
because we don't want to, like, you know, because it's the same reason why, and I had to learn this hard way. If you're entering a competition, enter your best work.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't enter a bunch of your best work, because if people are voting for it, especially for People's Choice,
They'll split the
they'll
vote.
split the vote. And I lost People's Choice up at Center of the Arts at one time because
I lost to you because I had split vote.
Right, and then I lost my own People's Choice because there was 2 paintings that I entered.
Yep.
And they both had a ton of votes. If I'd entered one, I might have got it.
Yep.
You know, so that's another factor you have
That's
to think
right.
of. So enter your very best work, something that you're very proud of. Unless you're just after a stack of ribbons, and then enter as much as you like. Valarie.
I only entered 2. The Desert Wood Carving Show. Well, not
You don't even
just
have all
2.
your ribbons up. What's up with that?
Because some of them are.
You should have them all up. You won't need to paint your wall. You could just wallpaper it in your ribbons.
No. No.
Your ribbons and awards.
All the colors are off. If they were all blue, then yes.
Well, they're gonna be. Oh, I'm sorry. You've got some other colors of ribbons.
No. I don't want people to think I'm that way.
No, she's not, mostly. Ow.
I mainly enter Desert Wood Carving Show.
To win.
Well, yeah. Why enter if you don't want to win? County Fair. I do want to look again at the State Fair this year, but we have to take the art down for that. If you get, and that's a juried show. In fact, I believe most state competitions or state fair competitions, those are juried. So you have to have really good photos of your stuff.
So, People's Choice is when
the
public who is viewing the exhibition votes on their favorite artwork. And so they're going to vote for all kinds of stuff. And then whoever has the most votes gets the first, second, and third. And honorable mentions, I suppose, if they do that.
Yeah, and most of the time, big, colorful pieces are the one that take.
Yeah, and that is, like, I'm quite aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, it's almost being a bully as an artist. If I show up at a show with a 3x4 foot piece of art, I know that I have
a better chance.
An edge.
A better chance.
Look at my giant, colorful art. You can't look away, can you?
Wait a minute, that's a boobie. That's what you do. You use the boobies.
Not recently.
I know, not recently.
Oh God, there was another thing that I.
So yeah, I would check out your county and your town, city, and see what's going on there first. Even if you just put, so like for us, if I put Flagstaff, call to artist, things might come up. For different competitions.
One other thing, make sure you read their entries very carefully, because some of them will insist upon the work must be X number of years old. Like it must have been created within the last year or something like that. And it may not have been entered in any other competitions, things like that. So you need to read those things very carefully.
And the size.
And the size.
And it also has to be hang ready, which is different than just hanging it on your wall.
Right. So imagine, basically, if you sold the piece and you have to have the hardware in the back to hang it, and in presentation is important for those things.
Yep.
So if you need frames, you're gonna have to get frames. If you're doing like a round, like a live edge or something like that, then you just need to have the hardware in the back to hang it, and it needs to be
not the alligator
clip, but it needs to be like a wire. Something that is easy, because they're going to probably use nails.
Yeah, I don't have any art in here.
And your art is going to hang with the public, and so it's a possibility that it could get knocked around, because even though those exhibitions say do not touch, people touch.
Luckily with my stuff, because I do put so many coats of varnish, I catch people all the time doing this, but I don't have to worry about, because of the varnish I use, it's protected. But there's a lot of stuff that people enter for competitions that are not varnished.
Yeah.
And you will see, I've pulled my piece off a wall and all kinds of fingerprints all over it.
Yeah. And
it don't bother me.
I varnish my work heavily as well for the same reason. So.
Yep.
Both of our works, I'm confident that somebody could spill a Coke on them.
And I'm not. I don't varnish the back of this. Well, like on this, I probably would do the side, but in general, I don't do the back.
Okay.
So no, I don't want a Coke spilled.
I don't either. I'm just saying that it would be reasonably protected. Nobody wants soft drinks spilled on their art.
I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if Coke, if varnish will stand up to Coke like that.
And it is an acid.
It is an acid.
Yeah. All right. I retract.
Water.
Water.
Well, fingerprints on art can be a real problem. But on the same Mesa. Yeah, we're yeah, the Desert Woodcarving show is in Mesa at the Mesa Convention Center. And in general, it's in February.
No.
So you can look up their website.
Are you entering this year?
Yeah, because I didn't last year. I'd like to.
And it's
I didn't enter this year. I would like to next year.
Hopefully it's been a little. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more because the last. It's been in decline. Like there's been less people participating, and then part of the reason for that is that you have all these old crafts people who are at the top of their game, and they retire, and so they're not around anymore, and so they don't enter. So, so that's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
And unfortunately, in our day and age, some of these older, I don't want to say older, some of these more unusual forms of art, people aren't teaching them or learning them as much. So that's a factor as well.
See, this photo is lighter, so you can lighten from the original, just so I can see the detail, but you can see how much I need to darken all that up. Alrighty, we got any questions?
Yeah.
If you're thinking of any more questions, especially about competitions, after we're done with the live, you can always leave it in the comments. Oh, don't forget to like. I always forget to ask. Please like.
Yeah, please like. Please leave a comment if you haven't already.
Well, no, they can't leave a comment because we're still live, so it's live chat.
Oh, but they can leave a comment on the archive video, right?
Yes.
If you haven't, then comments help. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Any engagement helps. It's much appreciated.
All right, next week, just so we have an idea of where we're going, is we will. What will we do next week? We will start putting in some of these wrinkles. He's not overly wrinkly, or would you guys rather the ears? Because we do have a darker ear here. The wrinkle that we need to pay attention to is, if you can tell, it goes back, so we need to make sure it looks like it's going back.
Yeah.
Because if we just go straight up and down, it's going to look off. So we have to, because, I mean, her snout is a little longer than what it looks like here. But we have to get all these wrinkles right in order for her nose to read right. Plus, you can see how much darker I need to go with it.
Just let us know.
Yeah.
Let Valarie know.
So either we'll be doing wrinkles or the ear. I am trying to get the darks in first. Alrighty. I went to grab for the mouse, but we don't have a mouse for me to grab.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
waving too.
Happy burning, guys. Bye. Sorry about that. We made it in time. Now, how do I stop this again? I don't know.
Just throw your phone.
Just throw my phone?
Just throw your phone across the room. Something will happen.
Ah, there it is. Bye, guys.
You went for lunch?